Soggy, Nachos podcast. My name is Jonell. Got my man Charlie with me. Got my man Frank with me. And woo! This is a fun topic. You know, Charlie comes up with a lot of our topics, most of them. And I was very happy that he came up with this one. Charlie made a statement and it became a topic. The statement was the NFC East. Is Washington now the least dysfunctional team in the NFC East? I mean, we have a top 2 pick. You know, because I'm a Commanders fan. We have a top 2 pick. We seem to be cleaning house, so to speak. We got rid of some assets to make sure we got a top 2 pick. Charlie was just giving us a whole bunch of credit. And now on the eve, not the eve, the whatever post, I don't know what you call it, after the Cowboys and the Eagles completely crumble in the playoffs, and I mean completely crumble, and then the Giants having Tommy Vito, my man Cutlets. But other than that being said, though, Charlie, I don't have a lot to say. I just like that the question is being asked, and we have evidence to support it.
Little thing called evidence.
So I don't like that Washington's not in the conversation for most dysfunctional team in the NFC East. Like the Giants just fired their defensive coach, who all of the players love, and the defense was the strength of the team. Got rid of him because he didn't work with Brian Daboll, who's reportedly a tyrant on game day. I mean, you can see it, him throwing tablets at Daniel Jones, just going off. Like, you can see it. That just is ugly. It's just objectively not cool. The Cowboys, before the game, they're talking about replacing the coach. When like before the game, they're like, yeah, they might go with Bill Belichick. Yeah, I haven't lost yet. Like, I haven't even lost yet. Like, we're still in the playoffs.
The playoffs?
Like, how are you even having this conversation? And then the Eagles, I mean, it looked like the Eagles as an organization tore their patellar tendon. Like, they collapsed and could not get up. Like, they started 10-1. They started 10-1 and finished 11-7. Like, they won one more game in the last 8 or something like that. My math isn't
I told you so, right, but I told you so. I've been saying everybody who thought the Eagles was this great juggernaut team in the NFC was idiots.
I'm crazy. No, you ain't telling me the 10-1 though, but whatever. Like, you know, this, like, and I would argue that the Eagles are the most dysfunctional of the teams, because at least the Cowboys, with Dak, when they asked Dak Prescott, you know, what do you think about the possible coaching change? It's like, that's crazy. I wouldn't be here without him. We wouldn't have this year without him. I wouldn't have this year without him. So if he's on the chopping block, then I mean, I guess that I should be squarely there too.
About your coach and his status, your thoughts about Mike and everything he's done this year.
Yeah, he's been amazing. I don't know how there can be, but I understand the business. In that case, it should be about me as well, honestly. I mean,
Frank, we're not asking. But, like, that's still a united front. The Eagles, every player to a man is like, blow it up. I don't know. We got to have wholesale sweeping changes. Like, Lane Johnson was like, I don't know. If I'm here, everything got to change. Like, we need a lot of changes. They asked Jalen Hurts, do you support Sirianni? He said, I support everyone in this locker room.
Where's your confidence level in him then to fix this team?
I have everybody. I have a ton of confidence in everyone in this building.
That wasn't a yes.
Ooh,
that wasn't a yes. That wasn't a no.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like, they said that they asked him the next day, like, you know, do you want to keep Sirianni? He's like, keep him. I didn't think he was going anywhere.
You want Nick back.
I didn't know he was going anywhere.
Like, all these vague little weird answers, like they're trying to get a direct answer. It seems hostile. It seems gross in that locker room. But the good thing about the Eagles is that they are a good organization, and they'll do it. They fired one of their head coaches a year after winning the Super Bowl. Like, they traded their quarterback 2 years after, or a year after, paying him a big contract. They're not going to just sit and let these things get rancid and go bad. They're like, it's bad already. It's bad enough. Get rid of it, start over. And what did they do? A few years later, they were back in the Super Bowl with a whole new quarterback, whole new coach, whole new all that stuff. I trust the Eagles, but right now they're the most dysfunctional of the whole division. That's ridiculous.
Charlie is one of the more interesting people I've ever met because he just gave the answer as to why they're not, but then called them the most dysfunctional. I get it. This is panic time. This is the time where everybody starts to look at things and like you look at the failures of the year. But we have to think about what the word dysfunction actually means. And coming from a Washington fan, like, I've left and come back, but, I know exactly what dysfunction is. And though I love the trajectory we're on now, saying that we're the least dysfunctional, we still got to prove that. You still got to put that pen to the paper. You still got to put that out and really get some results. Like, I'm not a big fan of like, winning when no games are being played or when no action is actually happening, right? There hasn't been a draft, hasn't been anything. We're in the right direction and we're moving and we're taking the right steps. But Charlie actually explained what I was going to say, that, yeah, the Eagles have gone through turmoil and have had a bad end of the year, but they're not dysfunctional. They've showed you time and time again by probably having the best record in this division over the last 15 years, that organization figures it out and they know what to do when there is chaos. And, there were a lot of things with them this year that weren't great, but they're not the most dysfunctional. The Giants, all of that stuff you mentioned, plus having a DeVito, what do you call it? What is it? What's his name? A DeVito. What do you call it? What's your quarterback's name again?
Tommy DeVito. Daniel
What's the other one?
Daniel Jones, Taylor.
That little weird sandwich that y'all got, that's an interesting pie.
Chicken Parmesan sandwich, by the way.
And the Cowboys are eternally dysfunctional because how are you the second seed in the NFC and people are talking about, is the coach going to go before you play a playoff game? That's rough. If that doesn't scream dysfunction, I don't know what does. And the fact that they are a mess, they owe a quarterback that's not that good, $59 million, and they got all these questions swirling in the air. That smells, like bologna sauce. But I will say that the Commanders look like probably the team on the higher arc, and the rest of these guys got to figure out these questions. But I think the Eagles are probably still the best run situation in the NFC East. But it is looking pretty ugly as a whole.
Respect, man. So Charlie, so how do you feel as a Giants fan?
Awful. I feel awful.
Huh?
I feel terrible.
That's the worst sauce, actually.
It feels disgusting.
That is the worst sauce in the division.
Listen, I don't like anything that's going on here. I've lost a lot of confidence in Brian Daboll. The more
he was your boy at
articles, first. The more he was coach of the year last year.
That new coach scent wore off.
Yeah, that new car smell is worn off. Like, to me, like, the more information that comes out about the whole situation between him and Martindale and just coaching staff, like coaching members in general, like the OC was calling the plays and then he took it away from him and then he gave it to somebody else and then it was you can have it back. Like, just weird stuff. Just there's no rhyme or reason. He's just doing weird stuff. That don't sit well with me. And they said that his playoff berth and win carries a lot of weight in the locker room still with the players and the ownership. See, Frank, you remember when you were saying the Eagles not dysfunctional? That's dysfunctional stuff because the Eagles don't let a Super Bowl hold them back from it's not working. Sorry, get out of here. Like, the Giants are like, well, we won a playoff game. Let's no. If this is all the stuff that's coming out right now, I don't know. I'm not
proud of you,
Daboll
Charlie.
gotta go,
I'm proud
but
of you.
If I had the choice, get him out of here. Let me get Jim.
I'm proud of you, Charlie, because you went through a whole Giants rant and you didn't mention Saquon Barkley. So I'm very proud.
I didn't mention Daniel Jones.
That's a fact. Anyways, man, I'm done with this topic. This has been Soggy Nachos Podcast. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, share, subscribe, tell someone about us. Peace.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel